The invitation came through our family group chat, my mother's perfectly worded message dripping with concerned disappointment. Emergency family meeting. Thursday, 7 p.m. Alexandra needs our help with her situation. My situation? That's what they'd been calling my decision to quit my prestigious consulting job and start my own company. 2 years of subtle jabs, worried phone calls, and not-so-subtle hints about real jobs with actual benefits. I sat in my car outside my parents' colonial-style house, the same one I'd grown up in, where success was measured in Ivy League degrees and corporate titles. My sister Emma's Range Rover sat in the circular driveway, next to Dad's Mercedes and Mom's BMW. My Toyota Corolla looked decidedly out of place, exactly how they saw me these days. My phone buzzed. Another message from Marcus, my CFO. Forbes article goes live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You ready for this? I texted back. Perfect timing. Family intervention starts at 7. His response was immediate. Savage. Want me to send a car to rescue you? No need. Some things are worth waiting for. I checked my reflection in the rearview mirror. No designer clothes tonight. Just a simple black blazer over a white shirt, minimal makeup, hair pulled back neatly. Let them think I couldn't afford better. It made the coming revelation sweeter. The door opened before I could knock. Mom stood there in her channel suit, perfect makeup not quite hiding her frown lines. Alexandra, darling, you're late. By 2 minutes, Mom. Details matter in business, dear. She ushered me inside. Something you might want to consider. The living room was set up like a corporate intervention. Dad in his power position by the fireplace, Emma and her husband James on the leather sofa, Mom's sister, Aunt Patricia, in the wingback chair. They'd even called in reinforcements. Ally. Emma air-kissed my cheek. Love the blazer. H&M. Thrift store, actually. I watched her try to hide her horror. Sustainable fashion. Very on trend. Dad cleared his throat. Let's get started. We're here because we're worried about you, Alexandra. About my situation? I took the least comfortable chair, deliberately facing them all. About your choices, Mom corrected. 2 years ago, you had everything. Junior partner track at McKinsey. That lovely penthouse apartment. William. Ah, yes, William. The investment banker they'd practically planned my wedding to, before I called it off to start my company. And now, Dad gestured vaguely, living in that tiny apartment, driving that old car, working on some, what do you call it? Tech startup, James supplied helpfully. Though startup implies growth potential. He smiled, all teeth, and MBA confidence. I took a look at your sector. The market's saturated. No room for new players without serious capital backing. I bit back a smile. James, who tried to get his own startup funded 3 times before falling back on his trust fund. James, who had no idea he'd been pitching to one of my subsidiary investment firms last month. James, who'd been rejected. Again. We're just trying to help, Emma added. There's no shame in admitting something isn't working. McKinsey would take you back in a heartbeat. Actually, Aunt Patricia chimed in. Barbara's daughter just got promoted to partner there. Youngest female partner in their history. She paused meaningfully. That could have been you. I checked my watch. 7:43 p.m. The Forbes article would drop in 17 minutes. You haven't even told us what your company actually does, Mom complained. All this secrecy, these long hours, and what do you have to show for it? Dad stood, assuming his CEO stance, the same one he'd used for countless boardroom presentations. "We're here to discuss your failing company and plan your next steps. No more avoiding the reality." Emma's phone chimed. She glanced at it, then did a double take. Her perfectly maintained composure cracked. "Oh my God," she whispered, then louder. "Why is your face on Forbes' 30 under 30 list?" The room froze. Mom's wine glass stopped halfway to her lips. James grabbed Emma's phone. "That's impossible." He scrolled frantically. "This can't be." Alexandra Bennett, 28, founder and CEO of Neurotech Solutions. Valued at. "This has to be a mistake." $2 billion, I supplied calmly. "That's the current valuation after our last funding round. Though that number's a bit outdated now." Dad sank back into his chair. $2 billion? Would you like to know what my company does now? I pulled out my tablet, opening our investor presentation. Neurotech Solutions develops AI-driven adaptive learning systems. We're revolutionizing how machines process and respond to complex data. That tiny apartment I live in? It's actually the smallest unit in a building I own. That old Toyota. I bought it because it's practical and reliable, like all good investments should be. Mom's wine glass trembled. But you never said anything. You never asked. You were too busy lamenting my failure to notice my success." I stood up, straightening my thrift store blazer. "Our technology is being implemented by major tech companies worldwide. That's why I've been working such long hours. That's why I've been secretive. And that's why, in about 2 minutes, Forbes is running a feature article about how a 28-year-old woman built a multi-billion-dollar tech empire while her family thought she was failing." Emma's phone kept buzzing, notifications pouring in as the article went live. James looked like he'd swallowed something sour. Aunt Patricia was already dialing, probably calling Barbara about her suddenly less impressive daughter. $2 billion, Dad repeated, shell-shocked. "Actually, I checked my phone as Marcus's message came through. Make that $3 billion. We just closed another acquisition. I'd tell you more, but I have a video interview with CNBC in an hour. They're doing a special on disruptive tech leaders." The silence was deafening. Then Mom spoke, her voice small. But why didn't you tell us?" I looked around the room, at their shocked faces, their shattered assumptions, their crumbling certainty about who I was and what I could achieve. "Because sometimes," I said, gathering my things, "the best way to succeed is to let people underestimate you. It's amazing how much you can accomplish when no one's watching." My phone buzzed again. "That's my car. Unlike my Toyota, this one's actually expensive. Comes with the whole Forbes photo shoot thing." I headed for the door, then turned back. "Oh, and Emma? That startup James pitched last month. The one rejected by Bennett Ventures. That's my investment firm. Better luck next time." I left them there, surrounded by their luxury brands and conventional success, while outside, a sleek black car waited to take me to my next interview. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving people wrong. It's letting them realize that they never really knew you at all. And I was just getting started. The CNBC interview was just the beginning. By midnight, my phone had exploded with messages. Old classmates suddenly remembering our close friendship. Distant relatives claiming they always believed in me. And most tellingly, a series of increasingly desperate texts from my family. "Mom, Alexandra, please call us. We need to talk." "Emma? OMG, Ally. Why didn't you tell me? I'm your sister." James, about that pitch. Perhaps we could discuss over lunch. Dad, I don't understand. You had all this success and kept it secret. From your own family? I ignored them all, focusing instead on the message from Marcus. Stocks up 12% after the Forbes piece. Tokyo markets opening strong. Ready for tomorrow's board meeting? The next morning, I walked into Neuratech's headquarters, a sleek glass tower in the heart of downtown, my name discreetly etched on the cornerstone. The security guard nodded respectfully. Good morning, Ms. Bennett. My executive assistant, Maya, met me at the elevator. Your family's been calling the office since 6 a.m. Your mother tried to charm her way past reception, but security followed protocol. I smiled. Of course they did. Any other surprises? Your sister Emma posted on LinkedIn about her brilliant tech entrepreneur sister and tagged you. PR wants to know how to handle it. No response necessary. Let her chase the connection. My office occupied the top floor, but I designed it to be invisible from the street. Privacy glass, minimal signage. The space inside was modern but understated. Clean lines, practical furniture, walls covered in whiteboards filled with code and complex algorithms. The morning news played silently on multiple screens. Tech wonderkind Alexandra Bennett disrupts AI market. Neuratech Solutions, the stealth giant that's revolutionizing machine learning. Young CEO built billion-dollar empire in secret. A knock at my door interrupted my news scanning. Ms. Bennett, your 9 a.m. is here. I turned, expecting my scheduled venture capital meeting. Instead, there stood William, my ex-fiancé, the investment banker my parents had never forgiven me for leaving. Alexandra, he said, attempting his old charming smile. You look successful. I look exactly the same as when you called my startup dreams cute and admirable. I stayed seated. How did you get on my calendar? He shifted uncomfortably. Your mother might have mentioned you had offices here. I thought, given our history, I cut in. You should remember that I don't appreciate people who underestimate me. I never. You said, and I quote, tech is a man's world, darling. Stick to consulting where they appreciate diversity hires. I pressed the intercom. Maya, please escort Mr. Harrison out and update security protocols. As he was led away, my actual 9 a.m. arrived. Sarah Chin, the notorious venture capitalist known for backing unicorn startups. Entertaining morning, she asked, nodding toward William's retreating figure. Just clearing out old misconceptions. I pulled up our presentation. Shall we discuss the future instead of the past? The meeting with Sarah went brilliantly, but it was just a warm-up for what came next. At noon, I had a board meeting, my first since the Forbes article dropped. The boardroom was full when I entered. Our investors, mostly older men who'd initially doubted me, now sat up straighter when I walked in. Funny how a few $1 billion changes people's posture. Before we begin, I said, taking my seat at the head of the table, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, the Forbes article was strategic. Yes, the timing was deliberate. And no, this doesn't change anything about how we operate. Marcus, my CFO, pulled up our quarterly numbers. The growth charts looked like mountain ranges. Steep, impressive, undeniable. As you can see, I continued, our decision to operate in stealth mode while building our technology base has paid off. We're not just ahead of the market. We are the market. One of our early investors, A man who'd once suggested I bring in a more experienced CEO cleared his throat. The numbers are impressive, but the publicity changes things. Your family. My family is irrelevant to this company's operations. I pulled up another slide. What is relevant is our next move. Project Nexus. The room fell silent as I outlined our new AI architecture, technology that would make our current success look like a warm-up. Halfway through my presentation, Maya slipped me a note. Your sister's in the lobby. Says she's not leaving until you talk to her. I kept presenting, but sent a quick message to security. 5 minutes later, Emma was escorted to our smallest conference room, the one with the uncomfortable chairs. After the board meeting, I took my time reviewing contracts before finally heading down to meet her. She'd been waiting 2 hours, her perfect blowout slightly wilted, her Prada bag clutched like a shield. Really, Ally? She burst out as I entered. You couldn't have security tell them who I am. Your own sister. They know exactly who you are. I sat down. That's why they followed protocol. She deflated slightly. Mom's crying, you know. Dad hasn't gone to work. They feel betrayed. Betrayed? I raised an eyebrow. By what? My success? My independence? Or the fact that they can't take credit for it? It's not like that. We're family. We should have been part of this. Like you made me part of your life? All those family dinners where you and James talked about your achievements. Those charity galas where Mom introduced you as my successful daughter and me as Alexandra. She's finding herself. Emma flinched. That's not fair. We didn't know. Because you never asked. You were too busy feeling superior to actually see what I was building. And now, she gestured around. Now that we know, can't we start over? James would love to collaborate. Ah, yes, James. I pulled out my tablet, opening his pitch history. 3 failed startups, 2 SEC warnings for questionable trading practices, and a trust fund that's dwindling faster than his excuses. That James. Her face reddened. How did you? I know everything about everyone who tries to do business with my company, including the fact that he's been bad-mouthing me to potential investors for 2 years. Amateur hour, I believe he called it. Emma's designer bag slipped from her fingers. He wouldn't. The recordings are quite clear. I stood up. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a company to run. Wait, she grabbed my arm. What do you want? An apology? Fine, I'm sorry. We're all sorry. Just don't shut us out. I looked at her perfectly manicured hand on my blazer sleeve, the same blazer she'd mocked last night. I don't want anything from you, Emma. That's the point. I built all of this without you, without our parents, without anyone's approval or support. And that's exactly how I'll continue. But what about family? Family? I smiled sadly. Family would have believed in me even without the billions. Family would have asked about my dreams instead of dismissing them. Family would have seen me for who I am, not who they wanted me to be. Her hand fell away. And now, I checked my phone as another alert came in. Now I have a meeting with the governor about making our city the next major tech hub. Feel free to tell Mom and Dad. I'm sure they'll suddenly be very interested in my situation. As I walked out, leaving Emma in that small conference room, Maya fell into step beside me. Your parents are holding another family meeting tonight, she said, checking her tablet. Your aunt's already called 3 reporters trying to claim she mentored you. I smiled. Let them meet. Let them talk. Success is the best revenge, but silence Silence is the best response. The elevator doors opened to reveal Sarah Chen waiting with a group of international investors. "Ready to change the world?" she asked. I straightened my discount blazer, now knowing it would be featured in tomorrow's business pages as tech's new power look. "Always," I replied. "After all, the best innovations come from people everyone else overlooked." Behind me, I could hear Emma's expensive heels clicking toward the exit, the sound echoing like all their years of judgment and dismissal. But I wasn't that overlooked little sister anymore. I was the future. And the future, like success, belongs to those who build it for themselves. 1 month after the Forbes article changed everything, I sat in my office reviewing the latest market reports. Neurotech stock had doubled. Our AI technology was being called revolutionary by industry leaders, and my carefully maintained privacy had been replaced by constant public attention. Maya appeared in my doorway. "Your father's downstairs." I didn't look up from my screen. The same answer as yesterday. "He's different today. No Mercedes, no power suit. He's wearing jeans." That made me pause. Richard Bennett, CEO of Bennett Global Consulting, wearing jeans? In public? "He's been waiting in the lobby for 2 hours, Maya added, "just sitting there, watching people work." I pulled up the lobby security feed. There he was, my father, looking smaller somehow in casual clothes, holding a worn leather briefcase I'd never seen before. Send him up. While waiting, I studied the collection of newspaper headlines framed on my wall. Neurotech announces breakthrough in quantum AI. Tech's newest billion-dollar CEO refuses family's attempts to take credit. Alexander Bennett. Success doesn't need permission. The last one was from an interview where I had finally addressed the family situation publicly. The reporter had asked why I kept my success secret from my family. My response went viral. Success doesn't need permission, validation, or family approval. It just needs vision and persistence. Dad entered quietly, so unlike his usual commanding presence. He took in my office slowly. The whiteboards covered in complex algorithms, the global market tickers, the view of the city he thought he knew. "Your mother keeps setting a place for you at dinner," he said finally. "Every Thursday night, just in case." I gestured to the chair across from my desk. He sat, placing the old briefcase in his lap. "I've been thinking," he continued, "about your 5th grade science fair." Of all the things he could have said, this wasn't what I expected. "You built a primitive neural network. Used it to predict weather patterns. Everyone else had volcanoes made of baking soda or plants growing toward light. You had algorithms." He smiled faintly. "You won first place, but I missed it. Had a board meeting. I remember. You know what I don't remember? Ever asking you to explain how it worked, or why you were interested in AI, or what you dreamed of creating." He opened the briefcase and pulled out a stack of papers. "So I did some research." He spread them on my desk. Patents, academic papers, early business proposals. My work, dating back years. "You filed your first patent at 19, he said. "Created your first AI protocol at 22. Launched 3 successful startups under different names before Neurotech. All while we thought you were just." He trailed off. "Finding myself," I supplied. "Being difficult." He looked up, meeting my eyes. "We were wrong. I was wrong." The silence stretched between us, heavy with years of missed connections. "Did you know," he said finally, "that your mother has started taking coding classes?" Basic stuff, but she says she wants to understand what you built. Emma's been reading about AI ethics. Even James. James has been trying to pitch to my competitors. I interrupted, using his connection to me as leverage. Dad's face fell. I didn't know that. There's a lot you didn't know, didn't ask, didn't want to see. He nodded slowly. Your mother wants to host a family dinner to celebrate your success. Like the last family dinner? Were you all gathered to intervene in my situation? No. He pulled out one more paper from his briefcase, like this. It was an old photograph. Me at that 5th grade science fair, standing proudly next to my neural network display. Small, serious, and absolutely certain about my path. When did we stop seeing you? He asked quietly. When did we replace pride with judgment? I studied the photo, remembering that day. The excitement of creation, the joy of making something new. The disappointment when my parents missed the ceremony. You know, I said, that project predicted weather patterns with 76% accuracy. Pretty impressive for a 5th grader. Want to know what Neurotech's current accuracy rate is? He looked up, interested despite himself. What is it? 99.997%. I turned my monitor around, showing him our latest test results. We're not just predicting weather anymore. We're modeling climate changes, market trends, population movements. We're helping governments prepare for natural disasters before they happen. Helping businesses adapt to changes before they hit. Saving lives, Dad. For the first time, I saw real understanding dawn in his eyes. Not just of the money or success, but of what I'd actually built. Show me, he said softly. Help me understand. I hesitated. Then I stood up and walked to the largest whiteboard. It starts with a basic neural pathway. I began drawing. But then we added quantum processing. For the next hour, I explained my life's work to my father. He asked questions, good ones, showing he'd done real research. When I finished, he was silent for a long moment. I have another confession, he said finally. Bennett Global is struggling. The old consulting model isn't working anymore. Companies want AI integration, predictive analytics. I know, I said. Your stock dropped 40% last quarter. He laughed suddenly. Of course you know. You probably knew before I did. He straightened in his chair. I'm not here to ask for help, or money, or connections. I'm here to say I'm proud of you. Not because you're successful, but because you had the courage to build something revolutionary while we were all too blind to see it. I walked to the window, looking out at the city where I'd built my empire in secret. The next family dinner, I said slowly. What if we held it here? Here? In my building. I'll give them a tour first. Show them what I actually do. No more assumptions, no more judgments. Just reality. They'd like that, he said. Then carefully. I'd like that. One condition. I turned back to face him. Everyone comes on their own merits. No plus ones. James isn't welcome. He nodded. Understood. Emma's? Figuring that out anyway. His latest investment scheme cost them heavily. I know. I'd bought their debt last week. Through a subsidiary. His eyebrows rose. You did? Why? Because Emma's still my sister. She needs to clean up her own mess. But I won't let her drown. I sat back down. Family is complicated. Success doesn't fix that. It just gives you the power to set better boundaries. Dad stood, gathering his briefcase. Thursday at 7? Thursday at 7. Tell Mom to wear comfortable shoes. It's a big building. At the door, he paused. That article quote, about success not needing permission. I'm framing it from my office, to remind me what real leadership looks like. After he left, Maya brought in my afternoon schedule and a fresh coffee. Your mother's already called 3 times about Thursday, she said. And Emma sent flowers. Donate the flowers, I replied. And Maya, clear my Thursday evening schedule. It's time to show my family what I really built. That night, working late as usual, I added one more framed article to my wall. Tech CEO redefines family business. Success is the best teacher. Below it, I hung that old science fair photo. The little girl with big dreams who became the woman who changed the tech world. Sometimes the hardest part of success isn't building an empire. It's teaching others to see you for who you've become, not who they assumed you'd be. And as I looked out over my city, watching the lights twinkle in buildings where my technology was already at work, I smiled. Thursday would be interesting. But this time, I wouldn't be the one proving anything. I'd already done that. Now it was their turn to learn.